All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel for another video. As you can see, it's nice and warm and pretty sunny out. A little cloudy, but pretty sunny here and pretty warm actually for a nice February day as we cover the 4Runner. So at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about something real short that I want to do to this 4Runner. I'm definitely thinking about doing it. It's an OE part, but it would change the 4Runner drastically. So let's go ahead and dive right into this video. Now, there are a few things with the 3rd gen 4Runner that kind of annoy me. There are things that you can mainly change about it. There's aftermarket options, or there's just very simple ways to fix this. But the first one, talking about the hood here, that's not really one that I want to get into changing. The hood scoop is not functional on these 4Runners. Even though this is like the most sought after, I've seen the hood for the Sport Edition for the 0102 4Runner. I don't know if the Limited came with it, but I've seen these go on the marketplace for almost $1,000, which is crazy to me. But that is just the supply and demand. So I haven't, mine's not functional. I haven't ever seen a functional one, even though it has the drain spouts for the I guess like water. If you pop open the hood, you can see it, but the hood itself is not functional, which kind of sucks. I don't know if the 4th gen or the 5th gen, I don't know if those hoods are functional. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's probably an aftermarket company that makes functional hoods for the 3rd gen, but at the same time, I'm not racing it, so it really doesn't matter. The second thing is I'm not a big fan of the DRL daytime running lights. I know this can easily be fixed with just popping the fuse and taking the fuse out, which I'll probably do. I think it's just kind of a waste, honestly. It burns like more hours on the HIDs or LEDs more than it does, so it burns them out faster. But I can see where it's, why we would have it on something. It's kind of like a safety thing, but I don't want to run, like I said, the hours on the bulbs for this, so I'm probably going to remove it. Coming around, so actually we'll come around to this side. The power antenna, I know there's probably a way around this to remove it. Will I do that? No. But I am glad it goes down when the vehicle's off, because it does look better with it off. The power antenna, obviously, it just kind of makes it look a little ugly to me. You could probably put an aftermarket one on there, or just remove it altogether, which I don't even listen to the radio, so it really wouldn't matter. But for OE purposes, I'll just leave it on there. No big deal, but I thought it's something I would mention that people probably don't like as well. But yeah, so coming around to the rear of the vehicle, we'll start here. As you can see, once this is painted, I'm gonna go ahead and get these badges removed, especially this one. I don't want Haley or really care where people know that where this vehicle came from, I guess. But I do want to remove like 4Runner, the Toyota badge, and then kind of the 4-wheel drive SR5. I know what it is. Maybe some people don't know, but I also want to remove the Sport Edition. So when this thing gets painted, I'm just going to tell the person that does it, or whoever does it, to not put them back on. I think it looks cleaner without the badges, as I did the same with the Mustang. To me, it's just a more simple, clean look. I just don't like it on there. I don't know. Some people might, say otherwise, but the only badge that I would probably put back on there is the Toyota badge, if it was like a really nice like JDM kind of badge or something like that. But I think overall it's kind of a waste. I know some people do away with the rear wiper arm as well. I have used this. It's just kind of a pain because you can't really just go to like a Napa or something and get this blade. You have to have something. I had to get mine from Toyota because of these little screws, and as you can tell, they already look like this one has seen better days. So I know these are, very fragile, I guess, if you want to call it that. But talking about the back glass, I love the back glass. I wish it went down faster. I wish it was an automatic as the 5th gen has that we have. But at the same time, I know on the key fob, you can actually hold it and it will beep at you, and then the whole back window will go down, but it won't go up. And what I'm going to have done with the aftermarket remoteless start, the one that I'm looking at, you can actually program it to go down and up with just a click of the button, or holding it probably. So that's going to be something that's going to switch it up as well. So that's the only things I can really think that are just kind of nitpicky for me, that I don't really care, that kind of annoy me, but very simple fixes. I thought I would just point them out for anybody else that's looking at one of these, or maybe on the fence about switching something up, or kind of just like the headlights, removing the fuse. Very simple. If I'm already going to do a remote start, why not have it already to where I can roll the window up and down, especially during the summertime. It does work. It does work easier if you're putting something in the vehicle as well. So those are just some, gripes and complaints we always have with vehicles that we love so much. So it is the end of the video, and I said I would mention what I want to do at the end of the video. So I've been really, actually, what got me to look at it is I was looking at the Scan Gauge 3s. So I thought about buying one of those, and I was like, oh, all the functions and stuff. As much as I am very familiar with the Mustang and the tunes and the N-Gauge or the LRX and all that good stuff, if you're part of the Mustang world or the Coyote world, you'll know what I'm talking about through Lund Racing. I thought about putting it, I think it's a Magnuson. They have the OE TRD, but it's made by Magnuson blower, and putting it on this. So I've watched a couple of videos to where people did install them. I would probably have Ironwood install it just because they know what they're doing. They've done a couple of them. I've never bolted a supercharger on, and I don't want to get into that. So I figured, it's a good point at some point to have this thing tuned up. And while you're actually doing that, if you want to put a supercharger on, when is a better time to do it? When you're already tuning the rest of the vehicle up under the engine or under the hood. So I think it would definitely change the vehicle. From the videos I've seen people talk about, first and second gear have a lot more torque. So this, merging out of, I don't know, you're pulling out of here and merging with traffic and stuff, it's that much quicker. It adds about 100 horsepower. So I think the person that I saw, the 4Runner, they said was right around 200 horsepower stock. I disagree with that. I think these are probably like 170, low 180. So I can imagine it probably on a good day, I guess you would run pump gas, 93. I could see this 4Runner being at like 240, maybe 250. 220 foot-pounds of torque is stock, I believe. Putting in around maybe 260, 270. It's a 4,000 pound vehicle is what I imagine this vehicle weighs. So I'm just guesstimating. With all the extra amenities that I've added to it, it's a little more heavier. So the engine just doesn't put out a lot of horsepower, but the reliability is there. And I've talked about that 100 times with this previous videos on the channel. So I think it would be really cool to add, and there's not really much going into it. So, and I know people put them on high mileage 4Runners and stuff like that. So, and they did come from the factory with those. So you had the option, I believe, during certain years when they did the 3rd gen platform to have that TRD blower. And I believe it was a Magnuson then. I know it's a Magnuson now. And I just think it, having that little supercharger whine, I think it'd be really nice to have something on this. Might change it up. So, if I go all out, instead of doing like a bumper, the steel bumpers or whatever, my overland vehicle would be more toward like daily street pavement, obviously, as it is now. I think I might go that route and finish this with a supercharger kit. So it's definitely something to think about. And they're not that much. They're right around like $3,500. So it's pretty cheap for a little, six banger here. So that's going to do it for this video. We'll see what the future holds here shortly as I kind of think about it and make decisions. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video, guys. I appreciate you stopping by. I'll catch you in the next video. Have a good one.